This is the second tape on personal public relations in big organizations. And I'll pick up on a point I was finishing on the first one, which is we have a fast emotional brain that where messages travel vastly faster, somewhere between 8 and 18 times faster than messages to our slow conceptual brains. And so what our slow conceptual brain is noticing and talking about is already narrowed and focused for us by our fast emotional brain, and we're unconscious that we are noticing only part of what's there because we've been emotionally focused by emotional messages traveling many times faster than conceptual messages we're conscious of. So our conscious mind is constantly biased and limited and already focused in ways we are unconscious of. Now, in a big organization, how do you use this? What's this used for? Uh, Older men, mostly because that's what runs big organizations, unfortunately, only. Older men are very adept, some of them, not all of them, but there's a fraction of them, who know that by sending a heated, uh, emotional message to the subordinates or to people they want to influence, they can get your conscious brain limited and focused down, missing the big picture, and making you much easier to control and manipulate. Um, and therefore, you have to be adept at seeing emotionally laden, emotionally heavy messages coming at you from peers or subordinates, and notice the way that they are pre-focusing what you notice and what you don't notice, and undoing that influence and deliberately expanding what you notice beyond what your brain is naturally presenting to you because they've tried to emotionally focus you. So you have to like notice their emotionally heavy laden message. Notice the reaction it's producing in you. What you, because you're angry, you react this way, and you start noticing only this and going after this, or what you're disappointed, you go after this, or what you feel competitively threatened, you go after that, and subtract out that fear reaction, that competitive, that anger reaction. And what do you notice when you're balmy and calm instead of the emotion they gave you to pre-focus? You see what I mean? You undo it, and then you are immune to their tactic to manipulate you with emotionally heavy message. Now, there's a mean way to do this too, and I have to admit, when I first discovered it, I was mean to some people just practicing it. You go to a meeting and you if you have an opponent to some project you're working on, you hang around in the parking lot and notice what kind of car they have. If they have a power car, uh, the kind that men's magazine suggests that women like to have sex with the men who own this kind of power car, you can wait to the coffee break and make loud, humorous comments about, the kind of people who get their idea of sexual attractiveness from magazines, and therefore they buy a low-slung, powerful-looking car, hoping that women will be excited by them sexually because they have a car like that. And what kind of person is open to suggestion from magazine articles like that? And do we really want them in executive? And then some guy across the room turns red for the next hour and hates every idea that you propose irrationally. It's 3 o'clock, I think. No, it isn't. So I have to admit, when I first learned this, I sort of enjoyed relishing it. And it worked every time. It worked every single time. If you attack the status or the pride or the territory of some male somewhere in the meeting, you could just pre-focus them, and so they just missed the big picture for the next 2 hours. They could not undo the pre-focusing of that emotional message that they were getting. Even if the emotional message is totally false and wrong, it's just an unconscious reaction. So it is very powerful for agenda setting and for pre-focusing people. And I would not suggest doing what I just talked about, which is using it meanly. But when you first learn it, it is powerful, and you may experiment a little, and you find it really does work, even if you're using it for mean purposes.